When we're kids, we all do things we're not supposed to do. Though most children end up paying the price for bad behavior, a miraculous few get away with it. Actor Joel Murray was one of those lucky children who did something bad and didn't get caught. But instead of counting his blessings and learning his lesson, he tested the limits and pushed the boundaries to a horrifying conclusion.
When I was a sophomore in high school, I was playing basketball after school. We went back to our old grade school to shoot some hoops, you know, and a bunch of guys was pick up a kind of 5-on-5 thing. After we got done, we went down to the locker room, and it was a dank old locker room with a stairway with a metal rail. We had basket lockers. We didn't have real lockers, and there was still, you know, like graffiti from when I was there in 8th grade. Kind of a frightening place in general, just because it was our locker room. On my way down the stairs, I noticed this one door that was ajar, and 8 years of going to school there and years of playing basketball and football, that door was never open. There was always a janitor walking through if it was opening, and then it shut real quickly kind of thing. We walked over and we poked our head in there, and it was a weird kind of storage room. It literally had the sawdust that you throw on vomit and stuff like that. We went to the other side of it, and there's another door. I turned the knob on that, and sure enough, it was unlocked. We came out, and we realized we were in the cafeteria's kitchen. And being a young wannabe alcoholic, it occurred to me immediately. Tonight is the big St. Patrick's Day party, the parish St. Patrick's Day party, and this was a big Irish Catholic neighborhood. There was no doubt there was going to be a boatload of liquor in the school tonight. As we walked our way out the throughway that we had just discovered, back into the locker room and out the back door that opened to the back playground, and we jimmied all those doors with wadded up paper. A couple phone calls later, we got my one stoner buddy with a car. We met up at midnight, and like a bad 80s movie, I literally showed up in a black turtleneck with a watch cap. I actually brought a suction cup and a glass cutter in case that would be needed. But what we were gonna do was the most frightening thing I could ever possibly think of, because we all went to this Catholic school. My mother sang in the choir, my sister sang in the choir. My sister became a nun. Before my father died, he was the head usher at the church. The thought that the youngest Murray kid would get caught stealing liquor from the St. Patrick's Day party would be just the worst possible death ever. So we continued on our way. We went, and sure enough, the door was still open. We crept down the stairs to the locker room and through the passageway that went into the kitchen and opened one of the coolers and went and had our first guy, Jerry, go through the small cooler into the big cooler, and he said, "Oh man, it's the mother lode. You have no idea." So I grabbed a milk crate and filled it with half-gallons of hard liquor. It was Jim Beam, it was Squirrely Times, it was vodka. I had a huge milk crate just full of half-gallon handles. And my one buddy even grabbed the tapper, which, fabulous, always thinking. We used that tapper many years in the future. Here we are, each carrying about 40 pounds worth of liquor. I've never shaken so much, I mean, visibly shaking while we're doing this whole thing, frightened to death at the consequences of it. We got in the car and drove to my house, and we put it all in the loft in the garage, and couldn't believe it. We finally just like sighed. My one buddy said, "We gotta go back. You know we gotta go back." And we all agreed. And we went back a second time. And this time we were stealing boxes of wine, cases of bad German wine. I mean, anything we could get our hands on the second time. We were sure we were gonna get caught this time. Violently shaking. We got back to the garage, we put it all up in the loft, and agreed we had to go back a third time. The third trip out, we closed the doors behind us this time, and we took out the pieces of paper. We weren't going back, there was no doubt about it. You know, here we are carrying olives and cocktail onions and Schweppes mixers at this point, and we took everything. As we came out the back, where we'd been 2 times previous, nobody alive, dark as could be. All of a sudden, car lights just come around, and they're facing us, and they're coming straight down the alley at us, and they're coming at a pretty good pace, and we knew we were done, and we just stood there with pretty much no liquor in our hands at this point, and the car turned and went away. And we brought everything back to the loft and put it with the other things. That was March. I think we drank all the way through September on that. And I mean, the young girls that we got drunk on box wine while we were drinking Chivas Regal, things our fathers and mothers drank. It was an amazing, amazing summer. But near the end of September, I actually tried some of that box wine, and I was horrified.